Evan never expected his day to end inside a broken alien lab, breathing heavy air filled with smoke and dust. The metal walls around him were cracked, pipes were leaking strange glowing steam, and every few seconds the ground shook like something huge was walking outside. He knew he had only minutes before the enemy hunters reached him. His legs hurt, his chest burned, and he could feel blood on his shirt. But he kept moving, searching for anything that could help him survive. The lab was dark except for one thing: a single vial, a small glass tube, placed on a silver stand in the center of the room. It glowed, not softly, not gently, but like a small piece of a star had been trapped inside it. Evan stepped closer without meaning to. The light pulled his eyes in. It was blue, gold, and silver all at once, shifting like liquid fire. Even though he could not feel any heat from it, something about it made the hair on his arms stand straight. He reached out, slowly, carefully, but before his fingers touched it, a voice screamed behind him, "Don't touch it." He spun around. It was Rilla, the alien woman who had been running with him since the attack began. Her skin was pale silver, her eyes sharp and bright, and her clothes were torn from hours of escaping soldiers. She rushed forward and grabbed his wrist with surprising strength. "You cannot touch that serum," she said, her voice shaking. "It will kill you. It kills everyone." Evan pulled back a little, confused. "What is it?" Rayla stared at him with fear, real fear, something he had never seen in her eyes before. "It is the Predator serum. It was made long ago during the old wars. It was meant to create perfect soldiers. Strong, fast, deadly. But every alien who took even one drop died within seconds. Their bodies could not handle it." Evan looked at the glowing vial again. "Then why is it here?" "Because your kind was never meant to see it," she whispered. "It was created using ancient human your ancestors. Your species is the only one with the correct structure. But even then, the risk is extreme." Before Evan could answer, the building shook violently. Metal screeched. Something slammed into the door at the far end of the hallway. Then again. And again, Ryla's voice dropped to a whisper. "They found us." Evan listened. The hunters' boots were getting louder. There were at least 10. Maybe more. And they were armed with plasma rifles strong enough to melt stone. Evan had no weapon, no armor, not even enough strength left to run fast. He looked at Ryla. She looked at him, and the fear in her eyes grew deeper. "You need to hide," she said, pushing him behind a machine. "Stay behind me. Maybe they will not shoot if they see me first." Evan shook his head. "They will kill us both." The hunters struck the door again, and a long crack ripped down the center. Blue sparks shot across the room. The lock was seconds from breaking. Evan's heartbeat pounded in his ears. He turned back toward the glowing vial. Ryla grabbed his arm again. "No, Evan, please. That serum is worse than death. It will burn your blood. It will twist your bones. It will destroy your mind. But if I don't take it," he said quietly, "we die anyway." Ryla's eyes filled with tears. She looked like she wanted to say 100 things, but she could only manage one sentence. "You won't be human anymore." Evan heard the hunters shouting outside. 3 seconds, maybe 2, then the door would fall. He took a deep breath. "What if it works?" he whispered. Ryla shook her head again and again, terrified. "No human has ever taken it. No human has ever survived it. It was locked away for a reason." The door exploded inward. Hunters stormed the room, shadows moving like monsters. Their rifles were pointed straight at Evan and Ryla. There was no more time. Evan reached out. His hand moved fast, quicker than he expected. His fingers wrapped around the glowing vial. The warmth of the liquid shocked him. It felt alive, almost like it pulsed with a heartbeat. "Evan, no!" Ryla screamed. He popped the seal. He raised it to his lips. The hunters fired. Rayla leaped toward him, and Evan swallowed a single drop of the forbidden serum. Everything went silent. Everything went dark. And then everything changed. For a moment, Evan thought he had died. Everything around him turned silent, heavy, and completely still, like time itself had stopped breathing. He could not hear the hunters. He could not hear Rayla shouting his name. He could not even feel the floor under his feet. Then, in one violent wave, everything hit him at once. His heart slammed against his ribs, like a hammer. His blood felt like fire moving through metal pipes. His lungs burned, then expanded as if they were filling with lightning. Evan fell to his knees, but he didn't hit the floor. His hands caught his weight before he even realized he was falling. His vision blurred, stretched, twisted, and then suddenly sharpened so strongly that he could see every dust particle floating in the air. The glow of the serum flowed through his veins like thin rivers of light under his skin. His entire body shook. Rayla crawled to him and grabbed his shoulders. "Evan, look at me. Fight it. Fight it. Do not let it take you." He tried to answer her, but no sound came out. His throat felt both too tight and too open at the same time. Like two different bodies were trying to exist inside him. The hunters charged forward, weapons raised. Blue plasma lit the room, ready to burn through anything. But Evan did not feel fear. He felt something else, something primal, heavy, ancient. A voice inside him whispered, "Move. Strike. Hunt." The first shot fired. Rayla screamed and pulled Evan behind her body, trying to shield him even though she knew she could not stop plasma with her hands. But Evan moved before the shot even reached them. He didn't think. He didn't decide. Body simply responded. His arm shot out, grabbed Ryla's waist, and pulled her down with incredible speed. The blast flew over their heads and slammed into a metal tank, exploding in bright blue sparks. Evan stared at his own hand in shock. He had not meant to move that fast. He hadn't even realized he had moved at all. It was pure instinct. Instinct so sharp and strong, it felt like it was controlling him. Another hunter fired. Evan felt the direction of the blast before he even saw the weapon. His body twisted. He grabbed Rayla again, and they rolled across the floor in one smooth motion. The plasma shot hit the wall where Evan's head had been only a fraction of a second earlier. Rayla looked at him with wide eyes. "Evan, your speed." But Evan couldn't listen. His ears were filled with strange sounds. He could hear heartbeats. Not just Ryla's, many of them. Fast, heavy, aggressive. The hunters' hearts. Their footsteps. Even their breathing. It all echoed loudly in his skull. He stood up slowly. The hunters aimed their rifles at him. "Human, surrender." One shouted. Evan did not hear the words the normal way. He heard the fear behind the words, the quick pulse in the soldier's throat, the hesitation in his voice. Everything around him felt slower, heavier, stretched, as if the world was moving in thick water and he was the only one walking through air. One of the hunters stepped forward to grab him. Evan moved. No thought, no planning, just instinct. He crossed the room in one heartbeat. It felt faster than blinking. 1 second he was standing near Rayla. The next he was standing right in front of the hunter. His hand reached out, grabbed the alien by the armor, and lifted him off the ground as if he weighed nothing. Everyone froze. Even Evan froze. He had never lifted a full-grown alien soldier before. Not even close. And now he was holding one in the air with one arm. Rayla gasped. "Evan, you are not supposed to survive that serum." The hunter in his grip trembled. What are you?" Evan didn't know how to answer. He didn't feel human right now. He felt more. Something inside him growled. Not in his throat, inside his mind. "Finish him. Hunt. Evan's fingers tightened around the hunter's armor. "No!" Rayla shouted, running toward him. Do not give in to that feeling. The serum is trying to control you. Fight it. Evan closed his eyes and forced his fingers to relax. It took all his strength, more strength than lifting the soldier itself. He dropped the hunter on the ground, but the hunters were not going to stop. They opened fire. Again, this time Evan did not wait. He moved away. The voice inside him told him to move. He dodged shots. He ran through glowing plasma lines. He hit 2 hunters with such speed they crashed into the wall and fell unconscious. Ryla watched in stunned silence. The serum had not killed him. It had awakened something sleeping inside him, something dangerous, something powerful, something not fully human. Asterisk, and the transformation had only begun. Evan stood in the middle of the broken lab, chest rising and falling like he had just run 1,000 miles, yet he didn't feel tired. Not even a little. His heartbeat was steady and strong, like a drum marking the rhythm of a new creature inside him. Around him, the hunters lay unconscious or groaning in pain. Rayla stared at him, her silver eyes filled with shock, fear, and something else, confusion. She had seen humans fight before, but never like this. Never so fast. Never so wild. Evan, what is happening to you? She whispered. He did not answer. Not because he didn't want to, but because he didn't know how. His mind was split in two. One part was still him, still human, confused and frightened. The other part felt sharp, hungry, ancient. It whispered things he could not ignore. They are weak. Finish the hunt. Do not leave threats alive. He shook his head hard, trying to clear the voice, but it only grew louder. His fingers twitched. His muscles tightened like they were preparing to strike again. Ryla stepped carefully toward him. Evan, look at me. You are still in control. You are still human. But when he looked at her, his vision shifted. Her body glowed with heat. He could see the warm pulse of blood in her neck, her heart beating inside her chest, every movement she made in high clarity. He blinked rapidly, trying to push the instinct away. Don't. Come closer, he said softly. But Ryla ignored him and placed her hand gently on his arm. You saved my life. You protected me. That means the serum did not win. Evan wanted to believe her. But then he smelled something, smoke and metal. A new group of hunters was approaching. He could smell their armor, their blood, their fear. Before Rayla could speak again, Evan turned sharply toward the door. His pupils thinned like a predator's, his jaw clenched. His breathing changed into something deeper, more animal-like. Rayla's heart skipped a beat. Evan, your eyes. But Evan didn't respond. He didn't even look at her. All his focus locked on the hallway beyond the door. He whispered, They're coming. Rayla glanced at the unconscious hunters. More? Already? Yes, Evan said. 8, maybe 10. He tilted his head like he was listening to a distant whisper. One has a damaged leg. The others carry heavy rifles. They're scared, but angry. Ryla's mouth fell open. You can hear them? From this far? I can hear their bones moving, Evan replied quietly. I can hear their guns charging. His voice darkened. I can hear their breathing. Before Rayla could speak, the door burst open. A squad of elite hunters stormed in, taller, stronger, better armored. Their rifles glowed with bright blue plasma. Human! One shouted, Stand down! But the moment they aimed their weapons, Evan felt a surge inside him. His muscles tensed. His hands curled into claws. His breath slowed. His body moved without waiting for his mind. The first plasma shot flew toward him. Evan tilted his body slightly, and the shot passed by his shoulder like a slow-moving light. His world had changed speed. Everything around him felt slower, every sound, every movement. Every breath someone took, he moved, a blur, A shadow. A streak of living lightning. He jumped over a plasma blast, grabbed one soldier by the helmet, twisted, and threw him across the room. The man crashed into a wall so hard the metal bent. 2 more fired at him. Evan weaved between the shots, moving in curves and angles that looked impossible for a human body. He struck one soldier in the chest, sending him flying backward. The other tried to shoot point blank, but Evan ducked under the gun, grabbed the soldier's wrist, and pushed so fast the rifle snapped in half. Rayla watched in horror and amazement. Evan was not fighting like a human. He wasn't even fighting like an alien warrior. He fought like something older, something primal, a creature made to hunt in darkness. "Evan!" She shouted, "Stop! You'll lose control." For a second, Evan froze. The voice inside him roared, "Hunt them! Tear them down! No mercy! No escape!" He felt himself slipping. His vision blurred again, turning red at the edges. His heartbeat thundered, but this time it didn't feel like his own. It felt like it belonged to the creature inside him. He clenched his fists and squeezed his eyes shut. Human," he forced out. The voice growled angrily. Rayla ran to him, grabbed his face. "Look at me. You are Evan. You are not a monster." Her voice softened. "Please, come back." Evan breathed hard, fighting the instinct, fighting the serum, fighting himself. Slowly, his vision returned to normal, his shoulders relaxed, and the predator's whispers faded into the dark corners of his mind. When he opened his eyes, Rayla looked relieved, but also scared, because she knew the truth. Evan had won this small battle. But the war inside him had just begun. The air inside the broken lab grew thick and cold after the battle. Smoke curled from burned metal. Fallen hunters lay scattered like broken statues. Evan stood in the center of the room, breathing slowly, fighting the last echoes of the predator inside him. Rayla moved carefully around him, watching every small twitch of his muscles. She wasn't afraid of Evan. She was afraid of what the serum might still do to him. "Evan, we cannot stay here," she whispered. "More soldiers will come." He nodded, but he didn't speak. He could still feel the ancient voice inside him, quiet now but not gone. It waited like a shadow behind his heartbeat. Rayla guided him toward a half-collapsed tunnel on the far side of the lab. They squeezed through fallen beams and burning wires until the tunnel opened into a wide underground passage. Soft blue lights glowed along the walls, flickering weakly as if the entire planet was losing power. Evan touched one of the lights. "Where does this lead?" "Somewhere safer," Rayla said. "And somewhere where you need answers." They walked deeper, their footsteps echoing softly. The deeper they went, the colder the air became. Evan's senses picked up everything: the vibration from pipes, the faint smell of old metal, even the heartbeat of some creature far in the distance. But he stayed quiet, afraid of suddenly acting like a hunter again. Rayla finally stopped in front of a wide metal door, covered in dust and old alien writing. "What is this place?" Evan asked. Rayla took a deep breath. "The truth." She pressed her hand against the door panel. The door groaned and slowly opened, releasing a cold rush of air. Inside, the room was huge, like an ancient vault. Strange machines rested in the corners, half broken, half glowing. In the center stood a tall glass cylinder filled with dim blue light. Evan stepped closer and froze. Inside the cylinder was a skeleton. Not alien, not something unknown. Human. He took a step back. "Rayla, what is this?" She lowered her head. "I did not want to tell you. But now you deserve the truth. The serum you drank, it was made from this." Evan stared at the ancient bones. They were massive compared to modern humans, thicker, stronger. The skull was slightly longer, the rib cage wider, the arm bones shaped for power. "This is impossible," he whispered. "No," Rayla said quietly. "This is your past. She walked to the cylinder and placed her hand on the glass. A long time ago, humans were not like the soft species your people have become. They were powerful, feared across the stars. They fought without hesitation, protected their lands with brutal strength, and survived places no alien could endure. Evan listened, stunned. HFY continued. Our ancestors tried to copy their strength. They used blood and bone from old human remains. They believed they could create soldiers strong enough to fight ancient enemies. She looked at Evan, her voice trembling slightly. But the serum was too strong for us. Our bodies broke. Our minds burned. Only humans, original humans, were made for that kind of power. Evan swallowed hard. You're telling me humans used to be predators? Yes, Ryla said. Your ancestors were the alpha species. No one dared to fight them. But something happened, no one knows what. Humans vanished, and the weaker version of humanity appeared on Earth much later. For centuries, aliens assumed you were harmless. Evan's chest tightened. But I'm not harmless anymore. No, Ryla whispered. Because the serum awakened what slept in your blood. Evan stepped closer to the glass cylinder, looking at the ancient bones. Something inside him stirred, almost like recognition. He felt a strange connection, as if the bones were calling to him, reminding him of something forgotten. How long have you known? He asked softly. Ryla hesitated. Since the first moment I saw the serum react to your DNA in the lab. It glowed brighter. It recognized you. Evan turned away, trying to process the truth. He wasn't becoming something new. He was becoming something old, something his ancestors had been. Something powerful enough to defeat armies, but also something dangerous. Ryla touched his arm gently. Evan, you must understand this. The serum is not finished with you. This was only the first stage. 2 more stages remain. If you cannot control them, you may lose your human mind forever. Evan met her eyes, and for the first time, he saw fear not of him, but for him. He took a deep breath. Then I'll fight it. Ryla nodded, but her voice trembled. I hope you can. Because the Alien Council already knows. They sensed the power spike when your body changed. They will send their strongest warriors now, not to capture you, but to kill you before stage 2 begins. Evan clenched his fists. Then the ground shook violently. A roar echoed through the tunnel deep. Metallic, monstrous. Ryla's eyes widened. They're here. Evan turned toward the sound, the predator inside him stirring again. The hunt was about to begin. The roar shook dust from the ceiling and sent a cold wave of fear down Ryla's spine. Evan felt it too, not fear, but something sharper. Something that made the muscles in his arms tighten and his heartbeat slow in a strange, calm rhythm. The predator inside him stirred, stretching like a sleeping beast waking up after a long rest. The tunnel vibrated again. Another roar. This one closer. Ryla grabbed Evan's wrist. We have to run now. He looked down the dark tunnel where the sound came from. His instincts whispered the opposite. Don't run. Don't hide. Stand. Fight. But Evan forced the thoughts down. He followed Ryla as she pulled him into a narrower passage lit by old flickering lamps. They ran past broken control panels, rusted doors, and fallen pipes. The air smelled of damp metal and old chemicals. Evan could hear everything. The footsteps of the approaching hunters. The twisting gears of a massive machine activating. Even Ryla's fast heartbeat. Evan, she gasped as they ran. The council sent their strongest team. These are not normal hunters. They are called the Prime Execution Squad. They kill creatures 10 times stronger than ordinary soldiers. Evan glanced at her. They think I'm a creature? They think you're worse, Ryla whispered. You survived the serum. That makes you their nightmare. Before they could go farther, the tunnel lights exploded one by one, pop, 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 until darkness swallowed them whole. Ryla stumbled, but Evan caught her easily. His vision adjusted instantly. To him, the darkness was almost bright. He could see the shapes of rocks, the outline of the tunnel, even the tiny insects crawling on the wall. He led Ryla quietly around a corner, but the silence didn't last long. Heavy footsteps approached, slow, controlled, powerful. Not the messy stomping of regular hunters. These steps belonged to creatures trained for war. Then a cold voice echoed through the tunnel. "Human, surrender. Your mutation is illegal under council law." Ryla stiffened. "It's them. The execution squad." Evan felt the predator inside rise again. Like hot smoke filling his body. "Danger, enemies, attack." He pressed a hand to his forehead. "Fighting the voice," Ryla whispered. "They must not see you lose control. If you give in, you will become stage 2 too early, and that will destroy you." Evan nodded, but the instincts were growing harder to fight. Suddenly, bright beams of white-blue light flashed through the tunnel as the squad activated their armor. Figures stepped into view, tall, armored in glowing silver plates, helmets shaped like angular beasts. Their weapons hummed with deadly energy. The leader spoke again. "Human, step forward. Do not make us use force." Evan stepped back instead. Ryla squeezed his arm. "Don't fight them. We cannot win." But the leader raised his rifle. That was the moment Evan changed. Not fully. Not violently. But enough. His heartbeat slowed. His breathing deepened. His muscles moved. Like coiled springs, one of the soldiers fired. A blazing bolt of plasma ripped toward Evan's chest. Ryla screamed, but Evan moved long before the shot reached him. One step to the left, smooth like he was dancing. The plasma struck the wall and exploded, shaking the tunnel. The soldiers froze, confused. Evan whispered, "They're too slow." Another soldier fired. Evan dodged again, impossible fast, leaning just enough for the blast to pass inches from his face. He moved like he already knew the shot was coming. The soldiers advanced, forming a tight attack circle. Ryla pulled at him. "Evan, run, please." But something inside Evan snapped, not into rage, but clarity. Calm, cold clarity. He realized something important. He was no longer the prey. He was the hunter. A soldier charged with a spear-like energy weapon. Evan grabbed the spear shaft, twisted it, and slammed the soldier into the ground with ease. Two more attacked from behind. Evan felt them before he saw them. He turned, ducked low, swept his leg, and both soldiers fell hard. The leader of the squad growled, "You are becoming dangerous, human. We cannot allow this." He raised a special weapon, a thick metal gauntlet glowing with pulsing runes. Power surged around it, humming loudly. Ryla's breath caught. "Evan, that weapon can stop hearts. One hit and you're dead." The leader charged. Evan didn't run. He didn't dodge. He stepped toward the attack. The gauntlet swung toward his chest. Glowing brighter and brighter, Evan caught it. With one hand, Ryla gasped. Covering her mouth, the leader struggled. Shocked that the human could even touch it, Evan squeezed the gauntlet so hard. The metal cracked. The leader's voice trembled. What are you?" Evan leaned forward, his eyes glowing faintly. "Trying," he whispered, "to stay human." He ripped the gauntlet off the soldier's hand and threw it into the wall, where it exploded in a shower of sparks. The predator inside him roared with victory. The battle was over, but Evan's struggle had just begun. Because he could feel something changing. Inside his blood again, a slow, rising heat. Stage 2 of the serum was waking up. The tunnel fell silent after Evan crushed the deadly gauntlet. Dust floated in the air like falling snow. The execution squad stared at him with wide, shaken eyes. None of them had expected a human weak, soft, breakable to hold back a weapon designed to kill. Star-beasts. Evan felt the heat rising. Inside him again, not normal heat, not anger, something deeper like molten metal flowing. Through his bones. His hands trembled as faint. Glowing lines crawled up his arms. Gold and blue veins lit beneath his skin, pulsing like a second heartbeat. Ryla rushed to his side instantly. Evan, you have to breathe. Slow. Control it. The second stage is starting. He clenched his jaw. I'm trying. But the predator inside him pushed back harder than ever. Break them. Crush them. Hunt until nothing moves. Evan stumbled backward, slamming his hand against the wall to steady himself. His vision blurred, then sharpened. His hearing doubled, picking up every tiny sound, the ticking of broken lights, the clink of dropping armor plates. Even Ryla's breath trembling with fear. The execution squad didn't miss the change. Their leader shouted, "Back! Back! The mutation is accelerating." The soldiers retreated, forming a defensive line. Their weapons recharged with a low humming sound, but many of them could barely lift their rifles. Fear tightened their posture. Ryla stepped between them and Evan. "Stop shooting. If he enters full stage 2, you won't survive. None of us will." But the squad leader ignored her. "We must stop the mutation now, before he becomes uncontrollable." He fired. The plasma bolt raced toward Evan, but this time, Evan didn't dodge. He caught it. His fingers closed around the burning ball of energy. The plasma flickered and hissed, trapped within his glowing hand like a small sun. Ryla froze. The soldiers froze. Even Evan froze. "How? Am I doing this?" He whispered. The answer came from the voice inside him. "You were built for this. You were born for this. Let the predator rise." His pulse jumped. The gold-blue veins spread across his shoulders and neck. His spine tingled with electric pain, forcing him to lean forward. For a moment, he thought his bones were breaking. But then the pain turned into something strange, powerful, almost addictive. He dropped the plasma bolt, and it burst on the floor with a sharp crack. Ryla grabbed his face, turning him toward her. "Evan, listen to me. Stage 2 gives you more strength, more speed, more senses. But it also tries to erase your human mind. If you give in, you will lose yourself forever." Evan stared at her, fighting the pull inside him. Her soft voice anchored him. Her touch reminded him he wasn't alone. But then the execution squad made their mistake. One of the soldiers fired again, this shot aimed at HFY. Evan didn't think. He didn't hesitate. He didn't allow fear. He moved, faster than air. Faster than sound. He appeared in front of Ryla, grabbed the plasma shot mid-air, and crushed it like a spark between his fingers. The ground beneath his feet cracked from the force of his movement. The predator inside him laughed. Good. Protect. What is yours? Destroy. What threatens her? Evan turned toward the soldier, who fired, and for the first time, his expression shifted. His lip curled slightly. His teeth clenched. His eyes narrowed into a hunter's focus. The soldier stumbled backward. No. Stay away. Evan vanished. He reappeared behind the soldier, one hand gripping the alien's armor. He lifted him like a toy and slammed him into the wall so hard dust exploded everywhere. The soldier's helmet cracked. Ryla screamed, "Evan! Stop! You're crossing the line!" "Please!" Evan froze. Her voice cut through the fog. Her fear reached him deeper than any wound. He dropped the soldier. Not gently, but he stopped the kill. His chest rose and fell heavily. His glowing veins flickered, struggling to fade. Ryla ran to him, placing both hands on his cheeks. "Look at me. Look at me, Evan. You're human. Say it.